Welcome to today's show. I had something planned, and then it all went away this morning when some new news came out from the Dallas Express, and I was usually do a monologue, but I'm going to go ahead and get it kicked off with the Dallas Express CEO, Chris Putnam. Chris, hey, how you doing, man?
Great, Tim. Good to see you as always.
Oh my God, can I just tell you, the audio is fixed. You've got good lighting. What the hell has frozen over for more than one reason. By the way, before I pull this up, I have this doesn't fit on any of my shelves behind me. I have my America 250 official Nutcracker. I don't know why I bought it, but it was like $50 at the National Archives. I really felt I was doing something American with that. It's a whole to do. Do you have a Nutcracker of America 250? You don't, do you?
I don't have any artifacts like that, sadly, but I am throwing a big party Wednesday.
Yeah, it still sounds like you hate America to me. I don't know, Chris. Because you don't have the Nutcracker. If you don't have the Nutcracker, man.
First time I've been accused of that.
No, you guys are actually throwing a huge party for America 250. Tell everybody about it before we get into the news of the day here.
Yeah, we're co-hosting it with WBAP, who's the local regional really news talk show here in Dallas-Fort Worth area at the Longhorn Ice House, 6:00 p.m. Wednesday. We got a free concert from Rich O'Toole, the American Kid. Lots of giveaways, TVs, boom boxes, all sorts of stuff.
Two TVs?
Yeah, we got at least one TV. And there's some like secret grand prize I'm not even clued in on yet. A bunch of like $100 QT gift cards. So, yeah, it's going to be great. It's totally free. You can find it at DallasExpress.com or any of our profiles.
And I got shout out to my buddy Andy Frizzello. I have not, I don't have a sponsorship from them, but I love First Form energy drinks, and they're distributed now in Texas. And I'm very excited that I can go down the street and get myself, there was a Screamin' Freedom. Screamin' Freedom. Love Andy Frizzello and his work over at First Form, and really, really great all-American company. All right, that all being said, here's something that isn't really American that happened over the past weekend. There was a Pride event everywhere. And, I'm sharing the wrong screen because why would I share the right one? This cop was talking with, he was talking to Tercios, right? Carlos Tercios, your guy?
Tercios was observing.
Okay.
We had actually gone to this event, not to report on this particular incident, but it then happened right in front of us and he caught it on tape.
All right, I'm going to turn this up so everybody can hear it. What an interesting conversation he has with the Fort Worth police officer here. Here we go.
But no, I want to ask, and I'm being dead serious. So if a biological male comes up to me who says he's a woman, and I call him, I say, sir, and he gets offended, is that a citable offense? If I call a biological male a male, and he says I'm offended, I'm gonna whatever. Is that a citable offense if he's offended by that speech?
Man, we're talking gray area right now.
No, we're not. No, we're not talking gray area. We're not talking gray. If you misgender a freak, we're not talking gray area. Keep going.
Talked about earlier when it says that's a vague conversation, vague charge.
I'm genuinely curious.
Sure, I don't believe I would cite that for offensive language. Offensive language to me is calling somebody.
Is there, Chris, before we keep going here, because this clip pisses me off, because I live in the area. Is there...
It evidently pissed Elon off too.
I know Elon Musk got in on it this morning too.
And the other guy,
Russell Brand, and everyone. This clip has gone viral. Is there a citable offense for offensive speech in Fort Worth?
No, not that I know of. And really, before we dig into this incident, I do think it's important to note that the Fort Worth Police Department is generally regarded as one of the best in the country.
I'm aware.
Yeah,
I like
smart. They do it right. And Smart Asset actually did a study report that we reported on last year that ranked them the third safest city in America. They have a culture that is completely embraced by the mayor, city council, other leaders of promoting police, respecting police, appreciating police, and even celebrating, their law enforcement officers. And that's why this is a little bit disappointing, because.
Okay, we've covered it. You got it. Now look, hold on. Chris needed to cover the base because he's a nice guy. Because we know everybody down there.
That's the truth.
I know. This is also the only complaint I've ever had personally about Maddie Parker, the mayor, is that she makes me feel old. Because the fact that
she makes all of us feel old.
A mayor named Maddie. I'm like, come on. All right. But I appreciate, we all appreciate Fort Worth. We all like it. We think the cops are great. This keeps going.
N-word, curse words.
We don't curse, we're preachers.
Sure, no, I agree. But it's more like you call somebody a male. I don't necessarily find that offensive unless they come up.
You don't, but what if they do?
That's what I'm saying. If they come up and say, "Hey, I'm offended by that," and you continue to do that, well, then that's just becoming offensive to them.
And
Correct?
here's the catch.
Right.
Here's the catch.
So it's the, "Hey, warning, I'm feeling offended by that." Then we're moving into the potential.
But so
No, we aren't.
what if I'm offended by what they say? Like they come up telling me this and then the other, swearing at me. Will they get cited?
What's
Are
good
you
for the
offended
goose?
by it?
I'm offended by all of this.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
I'm offended by seeing half-naked men running around with children.
As anyone with logic would be.
I am deeply offended by that.
Correct. Unfortunately, there's not much on our side to do anything about.
Okay, now this is people are going to say, I want to see more of this clip, but here's what was just said. If you push it by misgendering someone, this officer believes that there are citable laws for hate speech, offensive speech that can be enforced. That is what they do in the UK. That is what they do in Germany. It is what makes us unique that we don't do that here.
Yeah, that's the concern about this incident, and it's a rightful one. One of these protesters was ultimately cited for disorderly conduct, but it was for noise. They were carrying megaphones. You know, what strikes me, Tim, is that I was there on the ground in Fort Worth. I'm a longtime Fort Worth resident, and we had the BLM protests, pretty heavy duty ones in that town at one point. And it was much like what we saw with the Carmelo Anthony trial, a couple of weeks ago, with people on the street screaming awful things at people.
Yeah.
Well, the only good cracker is a dead cracker, things of that nature. Right. And so it just feels like, and this isn't unique to Fort Worth, it's everywhere, that there's this double standard that's applied. And again, to your point, like, this officer clearly doesn't have a basic comprehension of the First Amendment. And that's troubling, because that's either a intelligence issue or it's a training and education issue.
I'm unsure how anyone in this country doesn't have, especially someone in Texas, doesn't have the proper training or knowledge to defend the First Amendment. And also,
I was just going to say, it's the most sacrosanct, basic constitutional right we have, as you know, and it's troubling that a law enforcement officer doesn't understand that.
The second half of this is he's only enforcing the law in one direction, and this fake law that he has created in his head is being enforced only in one direction, and that is towards the people who might offend the LGBT people who are around. To me, that bothers me. I mean,
the city and senior leadership has a long history of also appreciating and having a lot of respect for the LGBTQ community. And so what it does is it begs the question again, whether there's, kind of a different level of treatment being treated to these far left groups than to conservatives that protest them, and vice versa.
There is. It's very clear that there is. It's not. I don't think anyone is this stupid and ignorant to the First Amendment in America and in Texas. I think it is a training issue. I think it is a police department issue. And I like the police department, and we're going to cover the bases because it's a safe city. It's conservative, leans right city, purple.
It's very purple.
But this is inexcusable on every level. Inexcusable. And
yeah,
there's a reason that there's a reason that Elon picked up on it. There's a reason that when you sent it to me at like 7:30 this morning, when I was half awake, I screamed as soon as I saw this clip and posted it all over the place. I am unbelievably offended by this, because what you're saying here, and by the way, those street preachers are a bit of a headache too. Let's be real here. But I can tolerate them, and I understand what they're doing, and I understand what they believe their mission is, and they're not trying to groom children. So
that was actually the story we were there to report, because this particular event has an extensive history of involving children in their protests.
I mean, and these pride events have, and they're ridiculous. But I will just say that, and this isn't like a do better situation for Fort Worth. It's a fix it. This isn't like, oh, you need to try harder. This is, I want to know why that officer has no idea how the First Amendment doesn't work. Why he believes that there is a law against offensive speech in our country. Because this goes to a systemic problem in the police force then, and in the city, and maybe in the state.
Well, that's the question, and that's the concern. The city did issue a statement that that they fully, embrace the protection of First Amendment rights. They're going to review the video. They're going to comment on it later.
I hate that shit. I hate that shit. They don't need to review the fucking video. It's right there. Like watch it and tell me what. Like I want when these videos come out. And sorry, Chris, you're going to be the nice and balanced one. I'm just not. These videos come out. You can watch it. You see what he says. You see what he did. This should be a live reaction the way that I do. Boom, done.
In my hope, as somebody that appreciates what these guys do every day, obviously, and again, it's so great to see a well-run department and a community that actually embraces law enforcement. I hope they use it as a teaching moment, like you said. It's an opportunity to educate their officers maybe a little bit better, and hope that we can, at least conservatives, can get fair treatment in these types of situations in the future.
I tell you what, I got a law degree. I'm a constitutional law expert on top of a lot of other things. I'll volunteer my time to go downtown. I serve jury duty down there. All right. And
me too.
Right around the corner from the stockyards. I will gladly volunteer my time to go down and train on the First Amendment, which to much of my offense, look, I don't want these crazy groups going around in the street saying their nasty stuff, but they get to, and we get to yell back. It is.
That was part of the discussion. I can't remember if you played that in the clip or not, but the officer was correlating it, using the trans term with the N word, and that's the gray area. And it's like you said, it's not.
You can yell
if you want to walk down the street and you're not threatening anybody, it's your right to use the N word. I'm not advocating that you do, and I don't think we should. No. But you can do it.
I don't know. I'll drive with Chris in heavy traffic and see what he uses. Yeah, you're allowed.
I would never do that.
You have to, dude. I'm giving you a hard time because you're being so.
I know it's fine, man.
So fucking political today. So I don't even try to swear on the show, but so political today on this one. Because I know, look, we're all friendly with everybody in the area, right? And the cops are great, and it's a great and safe city, and I love it. And I like going downtown and feeling safe and be able to walk around the stockyards drunk off my ass when I want to. Tarrant County, Fort Worth, great. I like going down. I won't tell everybody where I hang out because they don't need to come and shoot me or whatever they need to do. These crazy people that watch. But when I go to these places, I really enjoy being able to be, off my rocker, wandering around and know that my city is safe. And then I can go around, don't need to worry about my pockets getting picked or getting knocked over. I grew up in Baltimore. It's an honor to live in a city like this. That's the safe. That being said,
that's my point. And we do a lot of. We spend a lot of time because, we cover the entire Metroplex and 30 miles to the east where I now live here in Dallas. It's a very different situation. I have had 2 simple assaults on myself and 2 auto burglaries, including the theft of a firearm in the last 4 months. I lived in some of the, let's call them hipster neighborhoods of Fort Worth. I love them. There's actually the neighborhood where this event was taking place. And we spend so much time reporting on crime and reporting about what's wrong with law enforcement and what, certain police departments are doing or not doing about it. That's why this is a tough one, because, they're just otherwise have been so outstanding. And you just hate to see an entire department get painted with a situation that was, 1 or 2 officers in a specific use case, which is why, I think most of us hope that that this is a teaching moment and they'll learn something from it.
Sometimes.
And everybody's for the better.
Sometimes I forget that you were a politician. Yeah, do better. I'm willing to volunteer my time and come downtown and teach these guys what the First Amendment is.
Hey, let me tell you something. If this has happened in a deep blue city where they encourage a lot of this nonsense, I would not be saying the same thing.
That is the standard that officer put forward, and I'm sure he's a nice guy. Doesn't matter. Is the standard that they have in London right now, where I feel like if you got got attacked by a migrant, you would be the more likely to be locked up for offending the migrant than anything else. Anyway,
or make it an offensive Facebook post, as you know.
Yeah, Chris, I got to bring in somebody that I had scheduled already, but thank you for being here. Chris Putnam, Dallas Express.
You bet.
Go to their event. It's going to be on July the 1st. A lot of great stuff. Again, DallasExpress.com. And also make sure you follow all of their reporting because that breaking news this morning was incredible. Look, Elon Musk follows it, so you should too. Chris, thanks for being here.
All right, Tim. Have a good day.
See ya. Boy, that guy. I love it when Chris is playing nice. What a nice guy. He was a nice guy today. But we like Maddie Parker. We like the mayor I voted for. All the things. We like our people here in Fort Worth. Just get your police department together. That's all. I want to bring in my favorite new viral sensation, Alison Steinberg. What? You're in the rotunda for this?
Yes, I am. Even though Congress isn't here, I am, because we show up for work, even though Congress hardly ever works. So here we are.
Steinberg, I have been a fan from a distance now for a bit because you don't harass members of Congress. You just ask them questions the way that they would typically ask like the way that the left tracks down the Republicans. You've been tracking down the left, and what you've done has been phenomenal. I want to just play a quick clip here of you recently with Nancy Pelosi before we get into everything that's going on. Here we go.
Hi, Congresswoman Pelosi. Last time I asked you about January 6th, why you turned the National Guard away on January 6th, you told me to shut up and that I was repeating Republican talking.
Shut up again because you're speaking lies. And I don't have
right
anything
here.
to do
You're
with
right
it.
here.
By the way, she's still wearing a Ukraine pin.
Here on the record saying,
No,
I'll
shut up.
admit it.
No, I did not admit it. The president never would agree to send the National Guard. Don't waste your time or mine on you.
Why was your daughter filming you on January
Why
6th?
don't you get away?
These are just questions the American people want answers to.
No, you know what? I don't even think you're a real journalist. You work for Mike the Pillow Man.
Actually, I do, and we're very
That
proud.
is- I don't consider that journalism. Mike the Pillow Man, that's not journalism.
That's not journalism, but BuzzFeed, who does listicles of what Taylor Swift song you are, is, right?
I don't have any reason to talk to you.
He'd love to give you a free
I want you to
pillow.
record this.
Did you say I want to get you a free pillow?
I sure did.
I want people to know that you're not a real journalist. You work for Mike the Pillow Man, and all you do is spout untruths. Get away
You
from
can
me.
insult me all you
Get
want,
away
but
from me.
Thank you, guys.
thank you, Congresswoman.
Oh, I like that you said thank you at the end, as if that was somehow respectful. Alison, I mean, here's where I want to start with this. Why are there not more people asking these people, like tracking them down and asking real questions like that?
It is shocking, isn't it? I mean, this should just be a regular occurrence here in Congress, but unfortunately it's not. I mean, so many of these media outlets, left or right, are trying to play nice with these members of Congress. And it's not like I'm trying to like get them in gotcha situations, but like these are just basic questions that most Americans want answers to. So I view myself as a representative of the American people, and that's what I've come here to do, is ask these very basic questions that shouldn't be hard to ask. But you can see the response every time is they get upset with me because they're not used to being asked these questions. They're used to the media covering for them and refusing to ask the hard questions. So here I am. I'm trying to do it all by myself, and it's come with quite a bit of retaliation, actually. They really don't like me over here, and they're trying to get me kicked out, in fact.
So you remind me of, and there have been, I have greater issues with our side of the aisle, and especially when we're in power. You're not hiding your politics here. You lean right.
Yeah.
But with our side, when we're in power, we really don't empower our journalists, and we really don't, including the White House at times.
Yeah.
Because you remind me of Chanel Rion, who really you haven't seen her face anywhere near the White House correspondence room or the White House pool since Trump has gotten reelected. And I think she was one of the standout stars during Biden and Trump won.
Yes. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, no, like, I don't understand. Like, and I've seen Fox try to kind of like rip you off after you've done this, because you really were the first person who started doing this, and all of a sudden they started doing it. But again, why do you think it is? Like, do you feel protected by like our Republican Congress and like people on the right of the aisle? I've seen you at like Republican study committee things. I know that they actually understand, but they have a phenomenal comms director. I'll shout her out, Kelly Cooper now. And she understands this kind of stuff, but I don't think anybody else does, do they?
it seems to be a rarity here. And to your point, I don't think there is much support from the Republican side. I've tried to bring it to a number of members of Congress' attention, the ones on the right at least, the ones that are friendly, let them know, the press gallery who oversees us here is sort of really upset with us. Every day we're getting in trouble for some new thing, some new rule that we're breaking every day, just happens to, resurface every time I'm in some new corner. They're like, oh, you're not allowed to film there. Oh, you're not allowed to have a tripod here. So it's just ridiculous. I've tried to bring it to the attention of these Republican members of Congress. They, of course, think it's outrageous, but then I'm like, well, can we do anything about it? And I'm trying to gather sort of a coalition here of like-minded members of Congress that I feel like might have my back, but I don't know. I don't really feel like it's of the utmost importance to them, which it should be, because as you mentioned, there's not many here that are doing what I'm doing. And I think in order to get the message out and try to hold some of these tyrants accountable, like, we got to have some backing from, Congress and even the White House. The White House has been great because they've allowed new media in, and that's a whole other conversation. But like, we really need to have the backing and the support to keep this going, because they're trying to take us down at all costs here.
Well, it's interesting to me because, like, again, like, these congressmen, these crazy lefty congressmen like a Pelosi, and then of course I've got a few more clips here of yours, but I'd rather talk to you instead of show the clips right now. But like, they're not pressed in committee hearings. A lot of it is talking points back and forth on X, where they have time to go back and forth. They're not actually pressed by any journalists, and the left again has been doing it to our people for a while. So why when we are in charge and Speaker Johnson's done a decent job?
Yeah.
Why are they like hammering you on rules? Like, what rules do they say that you break? Is it like bring a tripod and they're like, oh, can't be there? Or is it, I mean, are we seeing like house, like is it the police that go after you? Like, what is stopping you?
So it is the press gallery, the radio and television press gallery that oversees all of the media here in Congress. Now, let's remember, most of the media that's been here covering Congress has been here for decades. I mean, this is, the mainstream outlets, the legacy media. So
I did 15 years ago.
yeah. So, the drill. But that's who the press gallery is accustomed to. So now you have new outlets, alternative media, social media, people like us here at Lindell TV, where most of our content is on social media. And this is a whole new ballpark for them, right? They don't really know how to adapt to that. They don't know how to account for it. So, I'm just here doing my job, trying to ask questions. And mind you, I do it respectfully. If a member of Congress is willing to engage, I will continue to talk to them. If it's clear they don't want to talk to me, and if they don't respond to me, then I'm not going to keep pressuring them. Like, it's all just, I feel it out. So basically, every time I get one of these new viral videos, they come after me saying, oh, well, you're not allowed to film in this hallway. Oh, you can only use a monopod in this hallway. Oh, you can only use a tripod. Like, it's these ridiculous rules that don't even exist anywhere. They literally make them up just to get me in trouble for something, so they can, strike my record and tell me, oh, I've got, one strike left and then I'm out. So yeah, it's a very peculiar situation that they really need to account for the current times that we're living in, and the current rules and so-called restrictions are not really in line with how things are operating, with people moving away from legacy media and towards outlets like X.
Is there, like, say they do take away your media credentials, say they strike you out with dumb shit. Is there anything that stops anyone from walking down the hallway with cameras in Congress right now, or cell phones, and talking to people?
That's a good point. There are actually a couple totally independent journalists that come out here. They have pretty big TikTok pages, and they do exactly what I do. They just aren't credentialed. They're very difficult to get credentialed with. They give you a real hard time. You have to go through the hoops. I think I waited 6 months to get credentialed here in Congress. So it was quite a process. But like I said, there are a couple other people here doing similar work to what I'm doing, just without the official badge. Now, that does work to an extent because many of these offices are public. They're open to the public. Anyone can be here. But then there are certain events where you do need the credentials to actually get into, like, official press conferences and various events. Sometimes in these hearings, they'll be very highly attended, so they won't let the public in certain hallways. So it's just always sort of these ever-changing rules. But yes, more or less the job could be done if you wanted to just come here with a camera and do your best, give it your best shot. It could happen.
You get one of those. Do you have one of those ob spots, the 4K? You know what I'm talking about? The balancing camera?
I don't have one of those, but I have seen them. They look really cool. I have an amazing cameraman who actually follows me around here, and he deserves a lot of credit too, because he's got to keep up with me chasing down these crazy members of Congress. So shout out Gary.
Yeah, it's crazy. Have you been? What's the worst thing you've been accused of so far? Have they tried to, like, get you on? They try to throw a red card that you've bumped into somebody, try to hit you on a foul?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I don't know if they've actually successfully accused me of anything, but I was like kind of, I mean, you could maybe consider it assault. I'm not gonna like get crazy with it, but LaMonica McIver told me to get back out her face or whatever she said, some ghetto thing.
Is that the
And
clip you
she,
sent me? Because I can pull
yeah,
up.
she
All right.
slammed my microphone. Let's watch that.
Yeah, hold on. No, hold on. That's Ilhan Omar. Hold on. There's so many here. Hold on. Let me pull up here. Share this tab instead. And you can tell I'm very high tech with this stuff. There you go.
It's all good. Democrats, Congresswoman, you have repeatedly called to defund and abolish ICE. If Democrats were to get their wish on that, who would enforce existing immigration law? How would that?
Honey, go play with somebody else, not me today, okay?
Well, the American people would like to know how that would work.
I advise you to go play with somebody else, not me, okay? Have a great day.
Well, from what we've seen out of Delaney Hall, the violent agitators are the real problem. Is biting a federal law enforcement officer appropriate, in your opinion? Is that acceptable, or is that a criminal offense? Do you stand with the violent agitators?
You love wasting our time on the Hill. You're wasting
No.
your time, my time, and everybody else's.
It's not a waste of time when millions of Americans are asking why Democrats are standing with violent criminals over American citizens. How do you justify that?
And keep the mic out my face.
Did you just bash my mic with your folder?
Move the mic out my face.
How dare you? How dare you press anything? Yeah, that microphone wasn't anywhere near her face, by the way. You just had it at the side of her, and then she did hit it with her folder there.
Yeah, she did.
In the middle of everything else that's going on here, do you have friendlies on Capitol Hill, or there's some like guys other than like the creepy members that probably hit on you? Are there any like friendly?
That is a great question. I've tried to be
no.
friendly with other outlets, but I don't really receive the same respect. They are just not very well liked here. So I kind of just come here, I mind my own business, I do my job, I get the work done, and then I'm out of here because I frankly don't care to socialize with these people. It's like one big club, and I'm not in it, truly. Like, they're all friendly with each other. They're all friendly with all the members of Congress, both left and right. I just don't need to be a part of that. So I just want to continue to show up and do my job and ask the questions no one else will.
What's been your most memorable, like what's been the most fun interaction? I saw the McIver one. Obviously, you've been back and forth with Ilhan a bunch. And
Ilhan is always fun. She's always does not like to see me coming in the hallway. Nancy Pelosi, I think, has probably been the most successful. I mean, there's so many questions to ask Nancy Pelosi, and she's very heavily protected. I mean, getting a question with her is virtually impossible because she has like all kinds of security, which is crazy because she's not the Speaker of the House anymore, right? So why does she have all this security? That's wild. But yeah, I think Ilhan Omar, I always love running into her because she loves getting into it with me. And I almost have this kind of theory that she acts like she hates me, but she actually loves when I ask her questions because then she gets to repost it and make it look like she's owning me to all of her fans and followers. And then, of course, everyone gets to see the truth on my end. So, we have a good little thing going here.
Yeah. Have you ever gone back and forth with a Republican? You ever had any back and forth with like a Mace on a bad day or a Boebert on a bad day? I have.
That is a great question. The Republicans are usually really respectful, even if I'm asking them questions they don't like, because I am, I would just want to ask the tough questions. If there's something Republicans aren't doing, like, for example, the Save America Act, which I have been diligent on pressing them about, they don't always like my questions, but I got to give them respect where it's due, and they will always answer the question. Even if it's not, to my liking, they will always entertain the question, unlike Democrats who you see just shut me down when they don't like what I'm saying. So that's the difference here.
I was able to shut down proxy voting with a good chunk of effort that I led to stop a certain member who wanted to do proxy voting on her side, and she will not do an interview with me at all.
Okay.
Also, her staff has been I've known her staff for years, and pretty wise on their part to not sit down for an interview.
Probably a good choice, yeah.
I'd ask questions about like the Constitution things, and it would just expose that she's the dumbest member of Congress. When you think it's AOC.
Ooh.
Somebody on our side instead.
Dang.
Alison, we should do this again when I have a little bit more time. I want to get more into all the things that you do, and like when you come up with these reports and things, and when you come out with these, please feel free to share them with me. And say hello to the Pillow Man for me too. He's doing good work over there.
Thank you very much. I sure will, and I look forward to catching up with you again soon. Take care.
Alison Steinberg, Lindell TV, hanging out today. It's crazy that she's the one person that's being moderately aggressive with the left, and she gets slammed for it. My next guest, by the way, I need to change hats for. and I pander. I know how to pander. Look, I'm really good at this. I've been doing it for a while. Hold on, let me do the. I'm gonna change out here. There we go. There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah. Todd Ricketts, one of the co-founders of the FreeSpoke search. We're going to talk about that in a second. Also, former finance chairman for the RNC. I want to cover a couple of things with you here because obviously a lot happening. One of the biggest news pieces that I saw in the past. By the way, this makes my head look so small. I need a fitted hat for my.
We'll work on it. Just we'll talk. We'll talk after the show. I'll can't be that hard.
But this is actually really, really well worn. It's actually pretty sweaty. I've actually worn it a ton. But anyway, one of the news stories that I saw that kind of like in the middle of everything that has happened in the past couple of months has been the because you were finance chair at the RNC, the finances between the political parties. There is a huge disparity right now. And I wanted to get your opinion on like why you think, and it's got to be partly management, why the GOP is doing so well and why the Democrats are in a hole. I mean, they're in a massive hole. I think the last report I saw come through, they were 3 million in. Like how does a political party get that bad, and has that happened in American history before?
Well, I think there's a couple different ways. Like there's lots of different entities through which these campaigns get funded, whether it be, like issue advocacy groups where, putting out their own issues, or super PACs, or the DNC itself. I just think that we do things a little differently. Like we do a little bit more on our side. That's like through the RNC and through the Senate and through the House and so on. And the Democrats are generally focused on things that are a little bit outside that, like those outside groups that funded. So I always take it with a grain of salt when I look at funding, because I feel like at the end of the day, we're always going to be outspent, right?
Yeah.
And that's how I know we're right, because we still win elections when we get outspent, right? Like I always say, as a Republican, Democrats want to give away free candy, and we sell tough love.
It was, I got to tell you, this is, I learned a lot in the Mitt Romney, Obama race years ago, 2012, I think that was.
Mm-hmm.
When we were pushing math and Obama was pushing, I'm a cool guy with hope. And I'm like, all right, well,
yeah.
Americans don't want to hear the math part of things. And obviously they don't want our national debt continues to grow. And it's not even in the top like 5 issues, I don't think, when we take.
Yeah. We don't talk about debt anymore, do we?
No,
just don't talk about it.
Nah, because we're all in on it. How about that? Like that's one of those things. Like it's like both sides are not good at reducing debt. I thought we were supposed to be able to. You've done finance for years. You've got a hell of a resume when it comes to that. And we're nominated at one point to be Commerce Secretary. Why are Republicans not reducing the debt? Like, why can't we? I know they had Doge in there. They cut a bunch of stuff, but like, it just seems like those numbers it didn't slow any numbers anywhere.
Yeah, because I think what happens, and this isn't me talking, this is kind of, I feel like the overall mentality is that, cutting the budget doesn't win elections, right? Like it's not glamorous. It's not fun. And people at the end of the day don't vote with it. Right. So that's, I think, why we stopped talking about it. And also, I mean, if you kind of pay attention, I think our budget is kind of ballooning up because we have all these boomers who are on Social Security and Medicare and things like that. And then people look forward and they're like, oh, well, in 5 or 10 years, we're going to get a little pressure taken off of us on that as like there's fewer and fewer boomers collecting Social Security.
Yeah, it's. I don't look forward to inheriting what may or may not be happening here, but we'll have to clean it up. I guess we'll be around to do it.
At some point, yeah.
Yeah, at some point we have to take responsibility. One of the things that I really like that you've been working on and what you're here to talk about today is FreeSpoke, and I want to use this as an example of just to show like what happened today. So when you're on FreeSpoke, and it shows you it exposes the biased coverage, it shows you non-biased coverage, and gives you facts on things, which I think is incredible. But very, very easy. Daily decision advantage on your homepage. I like this. I wanted to talk about the Supreme Court ruling. We're not going to get into, pro or con or whatever here, but when you click on that, it will show you, again, non-biased AI. It gives you both the perspectives of the Republican and Democrat side and starts with facts. Why are you the only operation that does that?
That's a great question. I think that's a question for the rest of the world. But as I always say, like, when I was using other search engines like, Bing and Google historically, and now as you get forward into things like ChatGPT and the Claudes of the world, they're pulling from an index that has kind of a left-leaning slant naturally because the left puts out so much more content. And then if you have programmers that are slightly left-leaning, they're going to prioritize content in a different way. And so then you get the executives of these firms that are also left-leaning. And so all of a sudden, you're looking at content that's like moving pretty far to the left. And I was just like, you know what? There has to be a better way. And I admit I'm a Republican, but I'm also about like good information, about sharing people. Let's hear both sides of every argument. It's liberal in the historical context of debate and conversation to come up with good ideas.
That's a crazy concept. One of the big issues that's happening now is that every one of our phones pushes on their platforms, whether it be Apple or Google or Yahoo. They have editors who actually pick what stories get pushed through, and what'll end up happening is they'll have let's just say Fox is a right-leaning outlet. They'll have one story from Fox to every 30 or 40 stories from other outlets combined, left-leaning outlets combined. And that story will be buried, or it'll be some sort of entertainment story about, Travis Kelce's wedding or whatever to Taylor Swift. And it'll be way, way down. This kind of helps counteract that, right?
Yeah, that's kind of the whole idea. And I think there was actually a story about this back in February, March, about, Google had pulled from 400 sources that were left-leaning and 3 or 4 that were right-leaning, and Apple was even worse. They had pulled from 0 that were right-leaning. And so when they got called out on that, they did start to pull news stories from a few right-leaning sources. But so I'm not saying anything that I think is crazy or not undocumented, or I'm not living in my own mind here. And so what we really want to do is, I always kind of come back to this idea that, like, given good information, I have a lot of faith in the American people to come up with good answers. And so really what we were trying to do is like show both sides. And since the onset of AI, we bring in our own agentic AI that kind of is told just the facts, ma'am. So we get AI sort of summarizations, we get those perspectives, and also just label the sources of, for a sense of context of where they're coming from.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this, and I want to get you to kind of explain this here. So I go to the politics tab on the daily decision advantage, and it says DOJ launches. This is the story: is DOJ launches grand jury probe into China-based Marxist tycoon Neville Roy Singham, which he's been funding a ton of stuff. What's a takeaway when I take a look at this, where it says there's 6 middle of the road, 7 right, and 1 left-leaning story? Does that mean that basically it's skewing right-leaning publications or who's talking about it, or does that say this is the perspective? It analyzes the perspective of it, and it says that's where the perspective.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we're trying to show there is like which side is kind of covering the story, because the interesting part is that there are stories that we would all agree were big stories, and one side or the other won't cover them at all. And so it'll get no airtime, and then it like kind of leads you to believe that, oh, well, maybe it's not as important as it should be, right? Yeah. So we're just trying to give people a perspective on where the coverage is coming from and who thinks that's an important story.
By the way, it's a very important story, and I didn't know it.
Yes.
I just clicked on that tab just now.
Yeah, and if you click on the Explore Perspectives, it'll kind of give you like the summarization of each side and how they're thinking about it.
Get full perspective truth. There you go. You have I only have 9 out of 10 free weekly overviews remaining, so I better get on
yeah,
it.
Use them precipitously.
But no, I mean, this is a big deal. This guy funded a lot of stuff, and it's very interesting because not only does it show you the perspectives on it, but it shows you who cares about it and why. And so if there's an agenda that's being pushed, it kind of helps you read in between the lines. People like me, I love this idea. How do you get, and what's the plan? And obviously I can tell people to use it all day long. What's the plan to get everyday people in on it? Because that's where we need this. We need the people who are normally consuming news to be able to dig into this. Because for me, I love this. And I love seeing the breakdown of what side, and I think I can blow this up a little bit more here. I love seeing the perspective of like what side is covering it. That is a very, very unique piece that I've never seen done before. On top of then all of the stories that come through. This is a hell of a breakdown, and it's brilliant. How do we get normies in on this? How do we get people who come home from a long day of work, who just want to watch Wheel of Fortune and ignore the news for the most part? How do we get them to start using something like that?
Yeah, I mean, we use a lot of social media advertising, trying to find people to come and use it. And then, we're always trying to grow it, and I do things like try to get out in the media itself and talk to people. But we're growing. We have a few million users, and obviously we'd love to have a few million more. So we're just pushing that every day, trying to get more people to come in and use it. Sign up for a membership, a premium membership, where you can kind of customize and personalize your news view there too as well.
When you talk to people on the left and people on the right on this, I'd imagine people on the right are pretty open to this. When you talk to, because you obviously deal with high level people all day long, are people on the left accepting of this, or are they? I feel like this is something they would push back on and scream about and say that it's biased.
So the funny part is, like, their instincts are to push back a little bit, but generally what I say to people, I'm like, use it and then give me your feedback. Like, go put in things, search for things, find news sources for things, whatever you want to do. But then come back to me, because we're trying to be very honest in how we're putting out the information, as in a way to show both sides and let people kind of like see where the overlap is, see where where people disagree, and then allow people to come to their own conclusions.
When I go to the election coverage, this is, again, you've covered all of the I'd imagine all the primaries that are happening right now.
Yeah.
Is this a conglomerate of all the data that comes through? Are you making a better call? Because I would trust anything other than the AP, who I don't know why we always rely on to confirm. Again, this is one of those things, man. So like you understand this too, and I don't know you obviously, but I'm going to assume you understand this. Like, I have people on my side of the aisle who are, they're like, oh, I don't trust the mainstream media. I hate them. Oh, by the way, I also have a #1 New York Times bestseller. It's sort of the same way where they're like, the AP's terrible, but I go to the AP to confirm my elections. This would make sense to use instead of going to an AP.
Yeah. We're taking in information from a lot of places, but like, we work with the decision desk on the races themselves.
Yeah.
Just trying to give good information up to the minute as best possible. And if this is one of the interesting things that I really like about our product, actually, is you see the podcast perspectives.
Hold on, time out. You guys have the clips pulled. The AI goes and finds the clips when they talk about the stuff.
Yes, that's 100% of what we do.
That's brilliant.
We transcribe all these podcasts and then search through it. And so when you search for something specific, it takes you not only to a podcast where they talked about that, but it takes you to that segment in the podcast. So you don't have to listen to an hour-long or a 2-hour-long podcast to hear the minute where they're talking about the subjects that you're interested in.
That is.
And that was done from a lot of feedback. Our users are in surveying and getting feedback from users, is that they're not going to the ABC Newses of the world for their nightly news, and they're not even really using the cable TV news anymore either, and they're getting most of their information from the podcasts of people that they trust.
This is I have wanted something like this for a while. You can tell you can see my genuine reaction to this. I've really done my background on this coming in. No, this is brilliant. This is brilliant. Like, I don't want to, as somebody who's in the media, I don't want to listen to, I have to listen to it all day long. I have to go through all of these stories and figure out what's relevant, what's not.
Yeah.
Cutting right to it is brilliant. And then
you can share those clips too. Like, you can send a text, and it'll take the podcast, not at that for just the podcast itself, but to that clip that you found. You can send that to your friends and share it.
Wow. They should be, the MSNBC here, the Meet the Press podcast, should be paying you to put them up there. I can imagine anybody listens to the Meet the Press podcast. They barely watch it on TV now, but that's incredible. That is brilliant. That's brilliant. And then you go down to social media, and you've got folks like, I don't know if I'd call Tim Pool right. I think he's a libertarian, but I'll argue with your FreeSpoke on that one.
Okay.
This is fantastic. He's just kind of a nerd that skates, that just happened to build up a decent audience, but
also just to clarify, though, I always say that anything that's getting labeled, it's really just for a little bit of context. It's not meant to be some panacea to solve all the problems. It's just so you have a little bit of context before you start reading.
Yeah, this is this is phenomenal. Literally, this could replace producers on TV shows.
What's funny is I've talked to a couple of TV personalities who actually use our product, use FreeSpoke, to prep before they go on TV. So they just to see what every side is saying.
I'm cheap, so I don't have a producer here. I just kind of do my own thing, and I have somebody back in the office at ForAmerica and Media Research Center. But this is brilliant, and I'm actually going to. This is one of the few times I brought on a product or a person where I'm going to tell the truth. Because half the time when I say I read somebody's book, that's a lie. But
Nobody reads anymore.
Nobody reads any of these books. Man, you get some poor kid that gets a summary, an AI summary, and says this is what's in it or whatever. And then AI wrote it. So basically, it's just a couple of bullet points about AI. But I will use this. This is a
great.
brilliant product. All right, before you go here, because I know I got you for 15. We're running out of time. What's it like?
I have plenty of time if you need more.
No, we'll stick around then. Then let's do it.
Okay.
But I'm actually not a Rangers fan. I moved to Texas, so I got my Rangers hat. I actually have a whole wall of hats. I have a wall of pandering hats across the studio from me right now. I'm a Mets fan. And,
oh boy, it's a tough one. Tough year for you. It's been a while.
What's it like to be a part of an organization that's competitive?
Yeah, you know what? It's right. You know, the fact of the matter is, like, this year we are competitive, and we've got a ton of talent on our roster. If that we could just keep them healthy and get them out there playing, and so we've been able to piece together a season so far that we're still in the hunt, which feels good that we're still there. But also just looking at all the injuries to like the Ben Browns and the Matthew Boyds and the Justin Steels, and gosh, it's been tough to watch, and just kind of remain optimistic that we'll get a bunch of these guys back come August and September and start winning games like we should be.
Do you ever feel pressure personally, knowing that you have one of the most historic, you're holding a legacy for America and for Major League Baseball as an owner of the Cubs? It's one thing if you're I don't know, let me just pick a random team here. Like the Rockies, you're like, oh, okay, it's the Rockies. But the Cubs will be around forever. It is a staple. It is as American as hot dogs at baseball, is having the Cubs be a team. I mean, does that ever weigh on you, the pressure you're under, kind of carrying that torch?
No, I think the nice part about it is we kind of came into this as fans, right? Like we live here in Chicago. My siblings and I, for the most part, we live in here in Chicago. We are fans. We love Wrigley Field, and so we kind of came in with this mentality of, okay, we need to renovate Wrigley Field. We need to put a competitive product on the field, and kind of rethink the whole business of it. And we've kind of done that over the last 15 years. And really, I feel like we're getting to a point where we can consistently put a competitive team on the field. And so does that mean signing every free agent? No. And we get a lot of complaints of people that want us to sign more free agents. But we've kind of created a system. Jed Hoyer's done an amazing job with our baseball infrastructure, just to have lots of players coming through, signing a free agent here and there, making trades when we can, to improve our team. And our goal is really, it's if you're competitive every year and you can get to the playoffs kind of become a coin flip in baseball. People say the Dodgers have way outspent everyone on payroll, but for the entire 20th century, the Yankees did that. Mm-hmm. The Yankees outspent everybody, and they didn't win the World Series every year. So money helps, but it doesn't turn it into, there you go.
This a couple of years ago was out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, right? And so it doesn't always equate to wins or World Series. And so we just feel like if we can get to the playoffs, then we're going to be competitive and have a chance to win the World Series.
What's easier, managing a Major League Baseball team or being the finance chair for the RNC?
Well, I got to say, the era where I was the finance chair for the RNC was very easy. And that was because I had a boss that had my back and was always super supportive. And everything I said, I just said it this is coming from the president himself. And it was true, right? I had the president's blessing to go out and raise money on his behalf for the midterm elections and for his re-election campaign. And he always had my side. He was always at my back and being encouraging. And so it was really easy because I think people knew we had a rapport, and if they said anything mean to me, I'd go tell the president.
when you got the big guy there, it's fine. It's much easier than being at the top. Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, just in all honesty, one of my lines that I would say to people is look, I talk to the president every now and again. I'm going to talk to him this week, and he's not going to say who wrote checks. He's going to ask me who didn't write checks. And that was real. He wanted to know who was not being supportive, assuming that everybody was being supportive, right? And so it just kind of kept people in line, and it was really easy to raise money. I think we raised $1 billion in 2020. It was, setting records, and really I had all that credit goes to the president. I made the phone calls, but it was really the president's gravitas on the whole situation that made it easy.
Have you ever thought about running for elected office, or you got somebody who already did it in the family, and so you're like, in case you guys are wondering, his brother's a senator.
Yeah.
You ever think like, because I've gotten offered 3 times to be a member of Congress and run for the House, and I'm like, that sounds like the worst job ever.
Yeah, it just kind of comes back to it, like, I would say never. I've never seen an opportunity where I thought like, oh, well, I'm just the right person for this, or this is the right thing for me in my life at this moment. So I'm open-minded, but probably not. I feel like, you can have a bigger impact outside of being an elected official oftentimes. And, we're always working to like, get good policy in this country and keep taxes low, keep government small. And I don't know if being a senator or a congressman is really the best way to go about it.
I have too many ex-girlfriends to take a government position. I think they'd all
Yeah, that's right.
have a lot to say about things. Before we get out of here, I want to go back again to the real reason here. I think this is an incredible platform that you have here with FreeSpoke. Obviously, people can go to freespoke.com. You have any final thoughts on this? I mean, this is continuing to grow. It's continuing to evolve. Obviously, I think it's a brilliant platform. That I didn't know about the finding the topics in podcasts, which I think is just the most brilliant part of this whole thing. On top of everything else, you're saving a lot of people time. People should just go sign up for it, right?
Yeah, people should sign up, and I always ask people to get a premium membership and give us feedback, and really we're trying to be sensitive to the users as well. Like, we do listen to feedback when people give it to us.
That's what I try to send. That's me. I probably have too many things up right now. I need to go. You know what it is? I want to switch premium on without having it signed up for it ahead of time.
Okay,
so
yeah.
And by the way, I've learned my lesson. One time I went to go buy something that somebody had on my show, and it had my personal address up, and I learned a lesson by posting my on the internet. We're not going to do that today. I'm going to do it as soon as we get off of the show. I will sign up.
Okay, so we'll talk about that a little bit. Talking about stuff behind you though, Alf. How did Alf make it onto the shelf?
Let me tell you something, man. My office is I've got a collect. By the way, NWO obviously. I've got a collection of Christy Yamaguchi signed plates.
Perfect.
My Alf is. Do you see my Alf stickers over here? Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, I saw something Alf in the background as we were joining in here.
Also, I have I've got everybody always has this like a set of books behind them that they want to seem like they're smart people.
Yeah.
And I was at a thrift store once, and I have the entire set of Sweet Valley High. The first 50 Sweet Valley Highs are behind.
Nice.
Me. Because I figured if you're going to have something really intelligent back there, just really get in. And then a bunch of villain stuff. I have a bunch of bad guy helmets up top there, and
okay. Oh yeah.
But no, my office is it's troubling. It's hoarding is what this is, and also if I put it on the set, it counts as a write-off. I think my
you can write off those. Yeah, there you go. Well, I feel bad. I'm sitting. This is where I normally sit, but it's way sunnier than normal here. So I have like this sun kind of coming in from my left there. So I apologize for that. It's not the best view of me.
All right. What are you doing for America 250?
We're a little bit up in the air. Like, so my wife and I were empty nesters, but all 3 of our kids are going to be home this weekend. But I think they've all said they're going to be off with their friends. And so my wife and I are kind of just debating. We, have some friends out east. We thought maybe we just could fly for one day to go because they're having a party, but probably just stay here in Chicago. We got the Cardinals in town. It's going to be good.
That's a solid rivalry there. Yeah, I am going to be in DC until the 3rd, and then I'm getting out of there. I lived in DC for long enough, and I also know that if it's just like 10% in the bad direction of humidity, the first 3 fireworks that go off, all you're going to see is a cloud. So,
yeah. Well, I've spent a fair bit of time in DC over the years too, and I always tell every kid that I meet when they get out of college, I'm like, go spend 2 years in Manhattan and 2 years in DC, and if you turn 30 and you're still in one of those cities, just move. Just quit your job, move, go somewhere else, because that's not the place to be after 30.
I'm trying to think. So I think at 31, I moved to Austin for 5 years. And I got sucked back in. And then I left again back to Texas. But I served my time in both places as well. It's like you get it out of your system, and then you're like, done.
And are you in Austin today?
No, I'm in the Fort Worth right now.
Oh, okay. Very good. Very good.
So yeah.
So we had one of our daughters went to SMU, so we've spent a lot of time in Dallas and that area. And that was on the board of Schwab and our headquarters there in South Lake. So
You have that tiny little building along.
yeah, that tiny little building
114.
next to
Yeah.
Deloitte University.
Yeah, just a little. Yeah. So that means you've gone to Roy Hutchins then here?
I don't know. I don't think I have.
Oh, it's the one of the best barbecue places in Texas, and it's kind
Oh,
of
really?
down the street from it.
Okay.
But that's where RFK Jr. went when he came to town to get.
Oh, very good.
Barbecue. So obviously it's healthy, right? If you get it. If
Yeah, because I
RFK
was say
Jr.
he
went
only eats healthy food, so
there. It must
so it
be,
must be pretty good.
We won't think about how chonky I am right now, but yeah, when I go get my
Yeah.
beef ribs there. No, it's a gorgeous part of the country, and other than I'd like to not have a hellstorm when the weather changes during the seasons, but it seems like
Yeah.
spring. Was it spring to summer, summer to fall? We just get tornadoes.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like I grew up in Nebraska, so I get the whole tornado thing. And I
Better than me.
kind of love the Dallas area, to be honest with you. And my go-to is the Katy Trail Ice House. That's when I'm in town and I have a choice. That's where I go to get a cold beer.
What's the this is just going to devolve. There's a really
Yeah.
cool speakeasy in Omaha that I've been to many times. Every time I go up there, it looks like a little crappy liquor store in the front. And you go through it and they have the best whiskey speakeasy.
Yeah, I haven't lived in Omaha in so long. I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the name of it.
And I'm also just assuming that Nebraska, which is a very large state, is just centralized in one city only.
It kind of is. It's a fair assumption. It's a fair assumption. I grew up in Omaha. Like I knew this cool speakeasies 35 years ago.
Yeah.
But maybe I don't know so much anymore.
It's Wicked Rabbit, apparently, is what I just Googled it while I was looking. Because I like traveling up to the middle of nowhere, kind of like that, and getting
Yeah,
out.
wait, hold on. You said you Googled it, but you should have like FreeSpoked it. You should have looked it up in FreeSpoke.
Oh, hold on.
Test it out. See if you
oh
find
my
it.
God, hold on. Will FreeSpoke call me an alcoholic? They're like, we have analyzed.
No, we don't judge.
Here we go. Hold on. Let's do and I will do best because there's only one. But I bet there's best. So it's
Here's
here we go.
let's see what the summarization comes
Wicked
up with.
Rabbit, Anna's Place, Kai Tay, the Barbershop, and Alice. I've been to Alice as well,
Okay,
but Wicked Rabbit does come up right away.
that's really funny.
It's known for its Wonderland theme and is situated in a Hotel Deco building offering high-end craft cocktails. Oh, no, that's the different one that I went to. That was in the hotel that I was in. Yeah. No, it's really weird. Omaha is kind of known for its speakeasies now. When I go
Okay,
up-
now I'm gonna have to do a speakeasy tour next time I'm there.
Hey, you call me up. We'll go around and I turn into a real menace when I'm drunk, apparently.
Do you? I love people like that. I don't, but I love hanging around people who do.
I did this thing this weekend. I can't believe I'm going to say this on my show. So I had too many this weekend for the first time in a long time. I think it's just because I was exhausted and I've tried to cut back. And so it hit me harder. And went to a couple of cigar lounges. It was a great time. I decided to call women that I dated before my my ex-fiance and just let the phone ring once and then hang up.
Why?
Because my phone's full of texts now. How have you been?
Oh, really?
I had this concept. This was a menacing concept that would never hit me in normal. I don't know what happened to me.
Sometimes making some bad decisions is really good for you.
It has taught me a lesson and also got me a lot of attention. Positive
Yeah,
attention.
there you go. There you go.
Dumb.
All right, well, let me know the next time you're going to Omaha.
Yeah, and I will not.
fly
And
out
I'll leave
meet
my
ya.
cell phone. I'll leave my cell phone on.
We'll just put a little breathalyzer on it.
Todd Ricketts, thanks for hanging out with me, and make sure you all go check out FreeSpoke, and don't drink too much. Be very not you obviously, but everyone else out there. Just don't drink too much. Have a nice, safe 4th of July, and enjoy the America 250. Thanks for hanging out with me.
Yep.
We'll
Thanks for
follow up.
having me.
Yep, absolutely. Guys, this has been a great show today. I loved hanging out with Todd Ricketts and Alison Steinberg and Chris Putnam. Just a reminder, don't be a menace. Don't be a menace when you've been drinking. Don't do that. Thanks for being here, and I will see you all. We're going to take off, so we're taking off Thursday and next Monday. I'm actually taking a vacation for the first time in my life. It feels like that. It's been so long, and I will be back then. So a week from Thursday will be our next show. But thanks for being here.